creamy mushroom polenta. That is our second recipe today. And the fall harvest is a great time for hearty and comforting meals, soups, stews, and this mushroom polenta, creamy mushroom polenta. I know it's warm outside here in Toronto, but just think of one of those crisp, cold days and how you would just enjoy having this as a meal. The softer texture in this dish is also good for people who may have a sore mouth or sore throat, chewing difficulties, swallowing difficulties. So it's something to consider. And then Jeremy will show us how we can play around with whether we use milk or cream or a dairy alternative to bump up the protein, also to what else? Oh, bump up the calories if your appetite's poor and you need more. So mushrooms are a popular choice in the fall and the star of this dish. They might be small, but they're mighty. They have a lot of flavor, we know, but what we forget is that they're also high in nutrition. Mushrooms provide several vitamins, including a lot of our B vitamins like niacin, riboflavin. They also have selenium, potassium, phosphorus, and copper. What's cool about mushrooms is that it's the only produce that can help us get more vitamin D. So it contains a pre-vitamin D substance. When that's exposed to light, it's converted into a vitamin D that our body can use. So usually when we have mushrooms, once we eat them and we are outside in sunlight, our body does that job. But what they're finding now with mushrooms is that if they expose the mushrooms themselves to the sunlight or ultraviolet light, that conversion happens in the mushrooms. So it's easier for us. And for those of us living in a colder climate, and the sun's going away earlier now, it's setting earlier, and we don't have a lot of light, or if you're not out as much, we may have some difficulties with vitamin D. So that's something to consider. And I will save my fun facts for later.
Ooh, fun facts. Actually, quickly.
Yes. We have a question.
We have a question and a comment. So the first comment is the smell feature is not working.
I'm so sorry.
Apologize. And then the question is, so back to the first recipe, and then we'll come back to this just quickly, and then maybe I'll start cooking. Is Swiss chard similar to spinach regarding the oxalic acid?
Oxalic acid, yes.
And how it interferes with calcium absorption.
Yeah. So all the dark green leafies will have that oxalic acid. So it is something to consider if you're taking calcium medication to have it at a separate time. But you can still reap the benefits of the Swiss chard or the dark green leafy vegetables. Or if you really want to stay away from that, I'm sure you can mix it with some other leafy greens that may not be dark green, or we could even mix it with peppers, I think. I could see making that with peppers or tomatoes.
Absolutely.
So you have other options if needed.
Fantastic. Great question. And those watching at home, you can ask any questions. So just type them in the chat. Okay, so back to our mushrooms and our polenta. I'm going to get to the polenta in a second. We're going to start off with the mushrooms. So these are these incredible black trumpet mushrooms. Again, thank you, Glenn. I know he grows a few. Part of his garden tour, he has a special mushroom. I don't know what you call it. It's like a facility, a little area that he has all these different mushrooms growing. And mushrooms, I guess we don't always think about them that they're grown here.
Oh yes.
We grow them in Ontario. They grow all year round, so it is like a local, seasonal vegetable that you can get pretty much every month, which is great.
Yeah, and this isn't the fun fact, but I did find that the biggest producers of mushrooms is Ontario and BC, and they supply over 90% of the mushrooms.
In Canada? Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so what I'm doing is, you can use a knife, but I like to just tear them into pieces so that they're a little more irregular, and it's a lot easier. So we can just do that into smaller sizes here. And this will work with any mushrooms. I think in the recipe I just put mushrooms as a generic.
Any variety.
You can use any variety that you do enjoy. What I will say is watch them well, obviously, before you use them. They are coming from live earth, right? And there's a common sort of misconception where it's like, don't wash your mushrooms because it makes them soggy, and that's nonsense. Mushrooms are like almost 90% water. So it doesn't really absorb as much as you think it does. Wash them, and what I like to do is like almost like lettuce. Big bowl of water, all your mushrooms in there, and just agitate them to get all that soot off, and then you can sort of wipe them down. If you have like special foraged mushrooms from a trusted source, do not go pick mushrooms and eat mushrooms yourself. You have a disclaimer advisory.
Yes.
Do not pick mushrooms in your backyard and eat them. Then there, for some of the delicate mushrooms, using a damp cloth, you can brush them off, but I always suggest just wash them. You may have to cook them an extra 10 seconds to get rid of that extra water that it took on. So definitely worth it. Okay, so just tear up the mushrooms to all these amazing pieces. We're going to take our pan and medium-high heat, because the key here, what I want to do is get rid of that water that's in the mushrooms. We want to get some color. We want to get some caramelization developed. So just a little bit of olive oil. Don't need too much. And just dump all of your mushrooms in. Try not to overcrowd your pan too much. Like, it's not a huge deal, because honestly, if you've ever cooked mushrooms before, you know that you'll start off with like a massive bowl, and then it works down to this like little cup, right? They'll find their way, and you just might have to cook them a little bit longer, but just stir and cook. And when they start to space out evenly so that the water can escape a lot quicker, that steam can escape a lot quicker, that's when you'll start to get some of that caramelization, some of that color development, which is what we want, okay? So mushrooms in there. If you want some aromatics, go for it. This is just some thyme. I'm just throwing it in, branches and all. If you want to throw garlic, if you want to throw...
You didn't do your...
Oh, you know why?
Why?
Okay, so
there's a reason why.
Okay, so
yes.
With herbs, those essential oils, we want to express them. We want to get them sort of activated. That's what makes it so flavorful, so aromatic, and what makes our food taste so great. There's a couple ways you can do that. So one of our classes, our hands-on classes, just because it's so much fun, you can take your herbs, and it works with anything, and either just gently rub it with your finger or just whack the cutting board a few times, which is way more fun. And then
smells awesome.
Yeah, you can smell it, but really, really smells aromatic. So that's one way. The second way is through heat, and so I'm adding it to the pan. So
that's why we don't have to.
Not as fun, but.
But speaking of fun, fun fact: mushrooms actually double their size in 24 hours. Not that I'm going to sit there and watch a mushroom, but I thought it was pretty cool that you could probably go out and there's just something small, and then 2 days later, poof. That's probably what Farmer Blend experienced as well.
Oh yeah. Okay, so mushrooms are doing their thing. Now this is the polenta. This is the base, okay? And I'm breaking it into two different sections because you can use anything as a flavor, as a topping, as an addition. It could be mushrooms. It could be some leftover roasted chicken. It could be a can of chickpeas. Like, the toppings are completely up to you, which is fantastic. But the base...
Cooked Swiss chard.
Cooked Swiss chard, exactly. But the base is pretty standard. Now, if you've ever cooked polenta before, I grew up on polenta, but polenta can be time-consuming to cook, and it requires a lot of stirring. This is a very, very quick, easy, no-hassle method that I picked up from Chef Jacques Pepin, who is like a classic. He's been doing it for ages, and I love him. And I follow this recipe almost all the time at home because I don't have the patience to stand over my stovetop. Right. So, 1 cup or 1 part of your cornmeal. This is a fine milled cornmeal, which will give you a creamier polenta. You can get the coarse cornmeal. It actually sells it as a coarse cornmeal, which will work as well, but it has a little more texture to it. So it's completely up to you. Okay. Put it into a baking dish of your choice. I just ran out of my baking dishes, so I'm using a pan. Whatever you have that is oven safe, you can use. Okay. one part of that cornmeal is going to go in, and 4 parts of liquid. That could be chicken broth, that could be veg broth, that could be water, that could be milk, right? If I'm trying to make this maybe more calorie dense, right?
More protein.
More protein, I can go that route as well. Whatever liquid you want, and it doesn't have to be warm. You could just throw it in cold, okay? We're making this easy. I made things a little more complicated by making a mushroom stock. But this, for me, I think it goes well because I'm using mushrooms, and it is super simple. So my like little kind of secret ingredient that I love having is dried mushrooms. Okay, keep them in the pantry; they last forever. Even like a small little handful makes a massive difference for the flavor. And all you do is put them in the container and steep it with hot water, and that's it. And you have a mushroom stock. Like it's really, really flavorful,
so easy.
really, really easy. And so we're going to put that in.
And do you leave the dried mushrooms once they reconstitute?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All the goodness.
Give a different type of texture to the meal.
Absolutely. The only thing that you want to watch for is sometimes at the bottom there'll be a little sort of sandy from the dried mushrooms. So like that little last bit, I don't throw in. That was 2 cups because I don't have a container that's big enough. So I have to break it up, and we'll just add just regular water for the last 2 cups.
Of course, he doesn't measure it, but you know, you and I would.
Yeah, you can measure this. It's forgiving. The recipe is very forgiving.
Okay.
Now it's going to look like you added way too much liquid, and that the ratio is off. Do not be tempted to add more cornmeal. It will expand in the oven, and it will get very, very thick. So you want a very, very liquidy mixture here, and just whisk it together until it combines. And we'll season it a little bit. So I did not season my broth. So just a little pinch of salt.
Starting to smell the mushrooms a little bit. Is it wafting over to you?
Yeah, we're getting some nice color there. Okay. Now maybe a little pepper. Whatever you want to throw in.
Cornmeal, so cornmeal used to make polenta, is also gluten-free. So if you have celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, it's something to consider. Just make sure when you get the package, you check the ingredients that they haven't added anything else and that it's made in a certified gluten-free facility. But otherwise, naturally, gluten-free.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the hardest part of the recipe and the waiting. So put a lid on top or wrap it with foil, pop it in the oven, 350 degrees, and let it go for like 40 to 45 minutes, and it's done at that point. It's going to be super creamy and delicious, and then you can add your mushrooms on top at the end, or if you have the time and you want to just throw it in all at once, just throw it in all at once, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. Right? I did some mushrooms earlier. This.
There we go.
So you know what? Why don't we just throw it all at once? We'll make it easy. Okay. Now, if you want it to be super soft and creamy, especially if you maybe have swallowing difficulty with sore mouth, up the ratio. So instead of 4 to 1, maybe go 5 to 1, maybe even 6 to 1. Whereas this is going to give you almost like a thicker porridge consistency. So you can adjust as you need.
Okay, so you can really play with it. I see what you mean about it being forgiving, so it's not like
absolutely
cooking rice or something like that.
Okay, so that goes in the oven, 40 to 45 minutes until it's nice and creamy. It's ready to serve. Or you can enhance it a little bit more. And this is a Chef Pepin little staple, French roots. A lot of his dishes are what they call gratin. So again, this is not like hearty dish, and this is a great way to sort of bump up some of the extra calories. A little bit of milk or cream, just pour it on top, and then you can put a little bit of cheese if you want, and then just pop it under the broiler, just until like golden brown.
That's good.
And
wow, look how amazing this is.
This here.
Oh, sorry, I'm so focused
Director,
on
shot 2.
I know. I was just too busy looking at it.
There we go. And so it should have a nice little wobble.
Okay, a little wobble.
But again, mixing it in advance is just going to save you a ton of
Cool. I'm going to give you a couple of other points about the polenta or the cornmeal, which I found really interesting. So there's so many different types of fibers and carbohydrates, and I don't know if you've heard of a term called resistant starch. It's something, yeah? Okay. So resistant starch really just means a starch that resists digestion by your body. And so then it can act more like a fiber, and it can feed the healthy bacteria in our gut. And so about 25% of the starch in the corn used to make the corn meal is a resistant starch. And it's a different type of corn than what you would have from corn on the cob. So I thought that was pretty cool. The resistant starch also is something important if you're trying to manage your blood sugars, because it's slower to digest, keeps you full for longer, helps you have longer lasting energy, and also doesn't create any spikes in your blood sugars.
All right, well, I plated some up. That is our mushroom, creamy mushroom polenta, courtesy of some help from Chef Van and obviously from Glenn. Thank you for number 2.
And obviously Sherry. I just created a new name. Chef Jeremy.